Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the group 3. We would like to explain about approaches to language testing part 1. In this part, there is discrete point and integrative testing, communicative language testing, and performance-based assessment. The first, I would like to explain about discrete point and integrative testing. Discrete point. Discrete point tests are constructed on the assumption that language can be divided into its component parts, and those parts can be tested successfully. The components are the skills of listening, speaking, reading, writing, and various units of language of phonology, morphology, lexicon, and syntax. Discrete point tests aim to achieve a high reliability factor by testing a large number of discrete items, but each question tests only one linguistic point. Then integrative testing. This approach involves the testing of language in context and is thus concerned primarily with meaning and the total communicative effect of discourse. This approach stated that communicative competence is so global that it requires the integration of all linguistic abilities. Integrative testing is an unified set of interacting abilities that cannot be tested separately. According to Euler, if discrete items take language skill apart, integrative tests put it back together, whereas discrete items attempt to test knowledge of language a bit at a time. Integrative tests attempt to assess a learner's capacity to use many bits all at the same time. The fact that discrete points and integrative testing only provided a measure of the candidate's competence rather than measuring the candidate's performance brought about the need for communicative language testing. By the mid-1980th century, the language testing field had abandoned argument about the unitary competence and had begun to focus on designing communicative language testing.
Let's move to the next point. Communicative language testing. Communicative testing approach lays more emphasis on the notion and function, like agreeing, persuading, or inviting that language means in communication. Communicative language testing approach is used to measure language learners' ability to use the target language in authentic situations. The approach believes that a student is considered successful in learning the target language if they can communicate or use knowledge and skill by way of authentic listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Communicative language tests have to be as accurate a reflection of that situation as possible. For the example of communicative language test is role play. Like us, the teacher asks students to do a role play such as pretending that the student come to the doctor, pretending that the student are in the market. Based on Anon 1990, tasks in the test should resemble as far as possible to the ones as would be found in real life in terms of communicative use of language. The second, there is a call for test item contextualization. Contextualization. The next, there is a need to make test item that address a defined audience for a purposeful, communicative intent or goal to be efficient. And then, test instruction and scoring plan should touch an effective communication of meaning rather than on grammatical accuracy. The last point is performance-based assessment. It is a set of strategy for the acquisition and application of knowledge, skill, and work habit through the performance of tasks that are meaningful and engaging to students. Then, this type of assessment provides the teacher with information about how students understand and apply knowledge. Performance-based assessment implies productive, observable skills such as speaking and writing of context-valid text. O'Malley and Valdez-Pierce in 1996 considered performance-based assessment to be a subset of authentic assessment. The following are characteristics of performance assessment. The first is students make a constructive response. The second, they engage in higher order thinking with open-ended tasks. The third, tasks are meaningful, engaging, and authentic. Fourth, tasks call for the integration of language skill. 5. Both process and product are assessed. And 6. Depth of a student mastery is emphasis over breadth. In here, we have the type of performance-based assessment. The first is individual or group project, and the second is portfolio. Individual or group projects have long been used in education to assess a student's understanding of a subject or particular topic. And in a group project involves a number of students working together on a complex problem that requires planning, research, internal discussion, and presentation. And how about portfolio? One of the most popular alternatives in assessment, especially within a framework of communicative language teaching, is portfolio development. Portfolios such as essay and composition in draft and final forms, report, project outlines, poetry and creative prose, artwork, photos, newspaper or magazine clippings, audio or video recordings of presentation, journal, diaries, and other personal reflection, tasks, test score, and written homework exercises, notes and lectures, and self and peer assessment, comment, evaluation, and checklist. Okay, I think it's enough. If you have a question or something else, you can ask in @learning. Okay, that's all for our group. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.